Hello and welcome to the latest episode of Pixels in the Animation. I am one of your hosts, TFG Mike, and joining me in this epic journey into Sonic Land is TV's Mr. Neil.
I'll get you next time, Sonic. Next time. He almost does that in one of the episodes, I swear to God.
Next time, Sonic. Yeah. Dr. Claw. That could be a good foil for Sonic. It might be a better foil for Sonic.
You turn that chair around and it is Dr. Robotnik.
That's very true. So, as always, today we got a juice because it's time we went Super Sonic. That's right, here in episode 73, we continue our Sonic the Hedgehog coverage. We'll be talking about the next 3 episodes from Sat AM. So join us, won't you? Because Pixels in the Animation is way past cool as we celebrate 26 years of Sonic the Hedgehog, Sega's title character. Oh boy. So today we got 3 more episodes. We've got Hooked on Sonics.
Works for me.
I was waiting for that. We got Harmonic Sonic, which I would rather watch Carnage in C minor at this point.
Wow.
Yeah, huh? And then we got Sonic's Nightmare. So that's what's coming up today on Pixels in the Animation. The first, so the last 3 weeks of the summer so far to this point, we've covered the first technically 10 episodes of Sonic the Hedgehog. And coming up next, Hooked on Sonics.
Learn to read with Hooked on Phonics, the musical reading program.
Hooked on Phonics works for me.
Call 1-800-ABCDEFG.
The shredder will absorb the life force energy from the living tissue. Dr. Robotnik will use that energy to power his new sonic radar. The sensors are picking up life force. It's that miserable hedgehog.
Hold it right there, bird legs.
Take the intruder.
Wait, he's a life force. The shredder will destroy him. It should prove amusing.
Look out behind you.
Just kidding, bird legs.
What is Sonic doing?
Acting like a complete fuel as usual.
Alright folks, first up, as I said, Hooked on Sonics. Now, we've not really talked about the writing crew or any of the other crew on this show, but the only reason why I want to mention it here is because I actually recognize the name that wrote Hooked on Sonics. Randy Rogel. Anyone that doesn't know Randy Rogel, just listen to Yakko's World or Yakko's Universe or Wacko's America on Animaniacs. You'll know who Randy Rogel is. He's the musical genius of that show.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So Hooked on Sonics, Antoine goes after Robotnik himself in an insane bid to impress Sally and earn personal glory. Oh Lord, Antoine, you doofus, what are you doing? So, as I'm watching this one, I admire his gumption and want to do it, but it's pretty much for all the wrong reasons. Because Antoine the Fox is essentially the Freddy Cat character of the series. He's always bungling around. He's always, calling people fuels and everything else. That poor French accent on that fox. Why is there a French fox in this cartoon?
Because he's the coward.
Oh, yeah.
You know how it goes.
Now all I can think of is French rare bit. You know, cook the bunny bordelais à la Antoine? I'm going to do it. Oh, Lord. Can we talk about Bugs Bunny cartoons instead of this? Oh, God. Sonic going after Robotnik without a power ring. That's a great idea.
Yeah.
And somehow, someway, Robotnik has created a Sonic radar tracker. Okay, then. Sure. Uh-huh. I can't believe that actually worked. I don't know. What did you think of this one?
I don't know. It's just,
You're still at the I don't give a shit phase, right?
yeah, I'm still in the I don't give a shit phase. I'm trying to think of what to say. I mean, I think this is one of those where I've just completely blanked on it. I do recall Antoine the Fox getting the ring, but after that, it just kind of I think I just kind of blanked on this episode.
Yeah. That's kind of like me with Harmonic Sonic, because again, I guess I had these out of order, and I was watching them in order on the playlist that you had sent me, and I'm like, okay, yeah, I don't know exactly what to put here, but okay. But Hooked on Sonics, I like that they're spotlighting a specific character that is not Sonic and Tails. Because, you know, you look at the games, a majority of the classic games, at least Sonic 1, 2, and 3, it's mostly, at least 2 and after 2, obviously, because 2 is when Tails gets introduced, it's mostly either Sonic by himself or Sonic and Tails. In the games, we see all these bunnies and other woodland creatures jump out of the Robotnik containment units, but we don't really see any other characters. And again, to me, this cartoon came out in 1993. That's 2 years after the first game, and a year or so after the second game. So to me, they're kind of trying to base it on certain aspects of those first 2 games, and they've gone ahead and created all these animal characters, which is fine. I have no problem with Princess Sally and the Walrus Dude and Tails and whatever else, and Bunny Robit and whatever. I have no problem with those characters, but the fact is, this is supposed to be coming from a video game. And in the Sonic video games, he's either by himself or he's with Tails. There are no other mainstay. You can argue later, after they had some of the cartoons, they introduced some of the cartoon characters into the games, but that's not what we're talking about here. So I don't know. Harmonic Sonic is the next episode. Robotnik launches a spy satellite. He actually calls it a Sky Spy. The Autobots are going to sue your ass.
That's what it was. Think back to me. Reference Transformers, my brain turns on. Yes, I remember.
So we got Dinobot and the Sky Spy.
There were people on this cartoon who loved Transformers, I think.
Apparently so. So he launches this thing in an effort to locate Knothole Village, the Freedom Fighters' hidden base. Sonic and Rotor head towards the satellite using a makeshift rocket to destroy it. So that's what's going on here. Now, when you see the term harmonic outside of an actual harmonica, what do you think of? You think of sound, right?
Yeah. Music.
Yeah, something to do with music, something to do with sound, something to do with sound effects. None of that in here. This is Robotnik launching a spy satellite to spy on the village. I was really, because look, folks, when I look at stuff, if I'm only looking at it, when I go to create the schedules for podcasts, and I have to show a podcast like Pixels in the Animation, where I have to list every single episode of like 13 different video game cartoons. At first, I'm only looking at the titles, because that's what I need from my episode lists. as I'm going back and having to get the descriptions and the titles, and if we want to talk about writers, if it's a writer that we know the name of, things like that, I'll then notice the description, that kind of thing. With this, I wanted to go in kind of cold, because again, like I said, like I've been saying in the last 2 episodes of the podcast before this, I haven't paid any attention to this series or the other series that we'll talk about later in Adventures in a very long time. This has never been, again, I think you said in episode 71, this, when it was airing, this kind of was past your prime kind of thing. And for me, it was kind of the same thing, where I was 13, 14 years old when both of these series were airing, and I was not in a place where I could have watched this and enjoyed it as a teenager, an early teenager, in good faith. So again, what I like about it is the fact that I can come into this cold and have certain expectations and sadly get those expectations shattered, which is really depressing. But when I see a title like Harmonic Sonic, I expect something to do with sound, and sadly that was not the case here.
It seems like they're just picking puns out of the air and just going with it.
Well, you already made the joke of, hooked on Sonics.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that was the first thing I thought of, too. I mean, next thing you know, they're going to try to work in Sonic and Britannica or something, and, well, that's an encyclopedia. I mean, I don't know. But,
There could have been a musical tie-in, although it would have cost them money. I mean, there's the Judas Priest song "Electric Eye," which is basically about a spy satellite.
I don't think Deke was going to pay for that.
That would have been awesome. It would have been the best thing about this cartoon.
Yep. Absolutely. Anything else you want to say about Harmonic Sonic?
Just to prove that I actually watched this, just because I blanked out, I just want to mention the stupid resolution, which is that they brought it down with a giant cartoon magnet.
Yes, they did.
Yeah.
Oh. Again, folks, Carnage in C minor was more memorable than this episode.
For all the wrong reasons.
All right, last up we have Sonic's Nightmare. Oh boy. Sonic's paralyzed by a recurring nightmare personifying his own personal fears. Meanwhile, Robotnik unleashes a machine that can literally destroy the world. Okay.
Why do bad guys do this?
I don't know. If you destroy the world, you stupid villains, you're not going to have anything to rule. I don't know. That's just too weird, folks. Just absolutely too weird.
You can't destroy the world. I live there.
Yeah, exactly. So Sonic's Nightmare. I thought Robotnik did have a decent plan until it went all to hell. And Sonic's Nightmare, again, trying to give the character development or growth, and it kind of doesn't, but it almost gives Sally more growth than it does Sonic at this point.
Right.
And of course at the end she's, she goes up to him because she's going to talk to him and give him words of encouragement. And of course he's fast asleep, seeing as how he couldn't sleep earlier in the episode because of his nightmare. And she just assumes, because she starts blushing, she just assumes he's going to be talking about her, having a dream about her. And then the chili dog.
Oh, God.
So hilarious. Oh, my God. I just don't know what to do.
This needed a script doctor. I mean, how I would have written it was that I would have had Dr. Robotnik causing the bad dreams.
Yeah, that would have been interesting.
But then it would have turned into like a Super Friends episode. My dream reverberator will paralyze the Super Friends with...
I really don't think Robotnik is a dark side type where he wants to get into Sally's pants every episode. Because, okay, and we can talk about this on another show another night, but seriously, every time anyone mentions Super Friends to me, the only thing I can think of is Darkseid wanting to get in Wonder Woman's pants. Every single cartoon episode of Super Friends.
You can't blame him. I mean, look at
I know you can't blame him, but at least she shaves her pits.
Oh, wow.
I mean, some people on Twitter get offended that, that's a bad, really, really late pun, folks.
It's just a personal choice of hers. If she wants to shave him, she can shave him.
Yeah. All right. We're going to take a quick break before I go to hell and spend some time with Hades. And after that, we'll come back with ratings and all that good stuff.
It's action. It's drama. It's comedy. It's Juicin, the superhero webcomic. Juicin's got superhero antics and sexy girls. Read it now at juicin.com. DASIEN.com.
All right, folks, we are back, and it's time to rate these episodes. Harmonic Sonic, I'm going to give it a 2. It was okay. It wasn't that great, but it wasn't god-awful. What are you going to give Harmonic?
I'll give it a 1.5, just because of my apathy. It's like I said before, it's not terrible. It's just that I didn't care.
Hooked on Sonics works for me. I'll give it a 3. It's a very middle-of-the-road episode.
Yeah, I guess I'll give it like a 2.
Okay. And Sonic's Nightmare, what are you going to give that one?
I guess a 1.5.
Oh, really? Wow, I'm actually going to give it a 4. I kind of enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I was going to. The only thing that would have put it at a 5 is if, as you said, it was Robotnik doing the dream mastering, and, at some point he had, some claws and a red and green striped shirt with his face all melted off, and, it was the final nightmare.
And then Dakin can show up and... No.
Oh, wow, you did not just say that. Oh, shit.
The Dream Warriors.
Oh, my God. Oh, that's hilarious. Oh, crap. Thank you for joining us here on Pixels in the Animation. There are several ways to get in contact with us or leave feedback for the show. Visit the website, geekcastradio.com. You can also check out Juicin.com for Neil's comic. Please do both of those things. Email us feedback at geekcastradio.com. As always, put in the show title, so Pixels in the Animation, and whatever episode number you'd like to leave feedback for. Obviously, it would have to be episodes we've been doing recently, because neither one of us really remember or have listened back to any of the last 5 years of the show. So leave the show's feedback in iTunes. Please do this, folks. If you use iTunes, if you're in the U.S., Canada, wherever, U.S. ones we can always get to and we will read on air. So please leave us a review in iTunes. Follow us on Twitter. At Geekcast Radio is the network Twitter. Mine is TFG1 Mike. What is your Twitter?
P. Lynn Bailey.
Become a fan on Facebook. Go to facebook.com/Geekcast Radio Network. It's twins! Anyway, because... shit. We hope you enjoyed the latest episode of Pixels in the Animation and wish you'll join us next time when we will be reviewing the next 3 episodes of Sonic the Hedgehog, those being Warp Sonic, Subsonic, and Sonic Past Cool. For now, I am TFG1 Mike with...
TV's Mr. Neil.
Tune in next time and help us find the pixels in the animation.